Hello and welcome to Game Day from the UK, another Miami Heat's UK pre-game live streaming show. I am here with my usual stream team, minus John. We don't know where John is right now. Hopefully he'll pop up at some point and we'll add him in. But I've got the other guys with me and a special guest we'll come on to in a second. But before we do any introductions, first of all, Sam, any fake Woj bombs that we need to know about?
Funny enough, I just seen one. But I was well prepared this time.
Good man.
Drummond's been released from the Lakers.
Especially April 1st. I'm definitely cancelled for that this time, dude.
This is it. So, Sam, how are you, mate?
I'm good.
Good.
Ready for the long weekend.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, bank holiday weekend. Roll on the bank holiday weekend. Danny, you good?
Yeah, all good here, man.
Great stuff. And as you can see, we are joined by Heat Twitter royalty. It's the host of the Post Up Show from 5 Reasons Sports Network, Mr. Royal A. Shepherd. Royal, how are you, sir?
I'm doing swimmingly, fam.
That is great.
Yes.
Like it. How's things over your side of the pond right now?
It's going well, man. It's going well. Life is good. My children are healthy. My wife is healthy. And so that's all I can ask for. And the Heat won 2 games in a row. So that's also a positive for me.
Yes, this is very true. This is it. Yeah, this is it. So let's come on to it straight away. Well, I'm going to start with you first. Another win. Pacers win last night on the back of the Knicks win. So a successful road trip. The main thing that screams out in this game was holding the Pacers to 87 points on the back of holding the Knicks to 88 points. We are winning with defense, and we are doing this without Oladipo yet. This is good stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. My theory is if you can't score 100 points, then don't let the other team score 100 points. So as our offense has been struggling to kind of get his legs under it, get going, finding some level of consistency, then it's been good to see that the defense been able to make up for that slack. You see improved defensive games from Duncan. You see Tyler giving a little bit more effort on that end, and then you see Bam and Jimmy kind of taking over games with their defense to complement some of their offense too. So that's been good to see from the team.
Yeah, 100%. Sam, we're winning these games sort of, as I said, defense first, which is great because we've got so many options to do this. The only thing that's slightly concerning me, and we have mentioned this before, is once again, Jimmy Butler. I think he was off the court for 4.5 minutes last night. So he's having to, we're having to have sort of superhero Jimmy playing most evenings. Should we be concerned about this, or is it at the moment just get the wins, we'll worry about anything else later?
Should we? I'm going to say no from today onwards because we got Victor Oladipo playing. But yesterday, it was it kind of showed what you're talking about because like I've been saying for the longest that this team had like a short margin of error. You could see in the second quarter where they just let things go. And to be fair, I wouldn't say it was their fault because like although they were like a tad late in some closeouts and Miles Turner grabbing rebounds and stuff, I think they went like 12, 13 points up against us and then we managed to catch up. But yeah, we won't be able to do that on most nights. We haven't been able to do that on most nights previously. Like we got the Warriors coming up, and that's what exactly happened in the last game. We got ahead and we let them come back. But I feel with Victor Oladipo, we don't have to heavily depend on Jimmy. Sometimes we could just get Jimmy out of the game and put the ball in Oladipo's hand, and we could still get a good level of production. Maybe not the same, but a sustainable level.
Yeah. We'll come on to Vic in a minute. John, first of all, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. Sorry that I'm late.
That's all right, mate. No problem. It's your first one of the season, so we'll allow it. We'll let you get settled for a second. Danny, over to you. Again, it was a little bit sort of good and bad again, like we've been seeing so much, haven't we? And we came out of halftime against the Knicks on fire. Absolutely obliterated them in that third quarter. That was the complete opposite against Pacers last night. We came out stone cold. I don't think we got a point for about 4 minutes or something stupid like that. At what point did you start to worry? Did you feel like this was always in hand?
No, I was worrying the whole game. I didn't like the game at all. I thought it was a terrible game from the Heat. Like we got the dub and that's great, but it wasn't a particularly nice game to watch. I mean, it was really nice to see Duncan kind of get back to form. That was like old Duncan that we're used to, and you can tell obviously that something's been lifted off his shoulders because he's kind of just free, and that sort of little pump fake sort of baseline drive that he did on Miles Turner was really nice.
Loved that.
Terrible dunk attempt, but whatever, we won't talk about that. But yeah, no, it was. I was worried sort of most of the game because it just didn't look like it was in our favor to win that game. And I think the only reason why we won that game is our free throw attempts were higher and we made more free throws. So yeah, we scraped that one through the skin of our teeth that game. So a little bit concerning. Maybe, but like Sam said, we got deeper on the way tonight, so I think it's going to be, you're going to see a little bit more of an offensive explosion. You would hope, anyway, in the next game.
Getting Miles Turner in foul trouble was huge too.
Absolutely,
I think even though Bam wasn't scoring early, he was still doing things like being aggressive enough to get those early fouls on Miles Turner. And when you got him in foul trouble, it like opened up the rim for us because we weren't getting to the rim at all. He was like sending all the shit that we put up. He sent it up. I don't know if I can say shit over here, but
shit
fabulous. So all the shit that we were putting up at the rim, he was like swatting it back to Miami. But it's kind of like after we got him in foul trouble, then we were good to go. So I'm sorry.
That's a great point. Please jump in whenever you want, mate, because that's great. John, Danny did bring up a point there about Duncan Robinson, and it was something that's on my list here. I know we've mentioned it before, but he is looking sharp now that this trade deadline rumours, all this conversation is gone now. He can concentrate on his basketball. He's shooting 57% since trade deadline. I mean, it's almost like he's duped the league into thinking he was bad, so no one's going to sign him. And now he's just back to being arguably like the best we've seen him, maybe. As I said, not just on a shooting point of view, but everything else, like cutting, defending. We've mentioned this before, but you can't ignore it, can you?
No, because shooting 57% on decent sample size, it just gets more the attention from the defense. I can't remember who sent a tweet, but it just showed like how Bam was attacking the paint, but then everyone else was just being so tight on Duncan. So if he's shooting as he did last year, then that he becomes even more dangerous. And if he can still do that like little hezzy on Miles Turner and try to dunk, then that makes his game even better.
Duncan, Kyrie Irving Robinson, baby.
Yeah,
definitely. Sure. Before we sort of finish up with the Pacers stuff, Royal, how pleased are you to see the back of TJ McConnell and Doug McDermott?
Yeah, listen, bro. MJ McConnell pisses me off every time we play against him, bro, because the man sees Miami and sees blood, and for some reason, like I like the way we played him. I mean, at least he didn't get a fucking double on us this time, so that was good to see. And I think that was the last time that we played him for the rest of the season.
Yes.
And so I couldn't be more pleased with not having to see those two again for the rest of the year.
Yeah, absolute pests, the pair of them, heat killers without a doubt. Yeah, they're a strange team, the Pacers, because on paper they're good, they've got decent depth, they've got players that can do things, but they just never seem to really worry me. I know we've just lost twice to them recently, but they just they would never bother me in a playoff series. It's just a real strange oddity of a team.
It's crazy because like Miles Turner like leads the league in like blocking shots, so he's always around the paint, but he's not as good of a rebounder as you would think somebody that size would be. Mm-hmm. And so that speaks to the oddity that you're talking about, Dan. Like, it's fucking weird, bro.
Yeah. Let's just go on. We always have to do a little bit on the buyout market. The last 24 hours, we haven't heard a new name just yet, which is strange, but we have had plenty of names roll out recently. We've done like quite a bit last night on Hassan, etc. I know you was in the chat. By the way, the chat will be quiet tonight because Royal isn't in the chat. So if you're watching, get in the chat because we need some comments. But Royal, just to get your thoughts, is there a possibility here with every sort of name that went by that we was linked with and didn't signed elsewhere? With obviously the playoffs, it being a shortened rotation, you're only going to be looking at maybe 8 guys. Is there a way that we just decide we'll roll with this and we don't just get that body in?
No, I don't think so, because I don't think you're going to expect Bam to be able to man the paint alone for the rest of the season. Like, in actuality, our backup bigs now are Trevor Ariza and Andre Iguodala. And that's not going to be sustainable because that puts wear and tear on them. So you need another big body just to be able to go down there, or just like an interesting name that's been floating around, but it seems unlikely, is Otto Porter, because he seems like he would be a perfect fit for this team. That's a lot to buy out from that contract. But if he does get bought out, then the Heat should definitely look into somebody like him. But Dwayne Dedman seems like the choice here. You know what I mean? He's serviceable, and as long as that damn ankle can hold up for the rest of the season, then I think he'll feel what we need from one of those spots.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I think that's sort of the general consensus on his Twitter is that that's the realistic name maybe that we see come in. And I'd be with that. I wouldn't be against that at all. Sam, early thoughts. I know it's a real short sample size, but early thoughts on Bielitsa. We've only seen a handful of minutes. Anything that that's caught your eye with it, or is it just far too early to say?
Far too early for me to say. I haven't seen anything that's impressed me yet, and I don't want to be that guy that puts them off already, but yeah, we just have to see a couple more minutes from him.
Do you think do you think that he'll be eased in, or do you think that this is what we'll expect from him maybe going forward? Just literally these handful of minutes.
I think we just have to take it game by game. I mean, you don't really know. Well,
yeah,
it depends on the lineups and what the teams might need, what the team might need, and God forbid we have any injuries. But I mean, I don't think that's anything we can predict.
No. Yeah.
Can I just add, like sort of combining what Royal and Sam said, obviously we can't judge what Bielitsa has done yet because he's played sporadic minutes. He's not had time to settle, and he's only played a couple games. And also, you worry in a playoff series when you get to the playoffs. If you're going to choose the option of going and not signing someone off the buyout market, then you're going to face some bigs in the playoffs that you really don't know how to handle and aren't going to be able to handle if you don't sign someone, because you're not going to trust Precious to for instance back up Bam Adebayo, even if it's just a very shortened rotation. You need big bodies in there, and at the moment, especially considering the Golden State matchup, which we'll touch on later. Even them, they've got size in the front court, and we don't. So it's definitely an area that needs addressing for sure.
Yeah, you're not going to trust Precious with anything.
Well, this is Royal. I'm glad you piped in here because I think it was during the Knicks game. I tweeted during the live commentary that Precious looks out of his depth tonight, and you came back saying this season. I corrected it for you.
Yeah, I think I think I'm along with. I think people have convinced me because I was completely out on Precious as a person on a basketball team. But I think people have convinced me that it's more so that he didn't get a chance to play in the NCAA tournament. He hadn't had an off season of NBA work. There is no G League for him to go to for additional seasoning. It's a very weird season for a rookie to come in and be able to contribute immediately. So I'm trying to be less hard on him, but God, if Spo keeps putting him in that game, I'm going to pluck my eyeballs out, bro. Like I can't watch him anymore. Like it's enough. And I think to solve the backup big problem, like I think Spo's thinking is he's going to put 5 people on the court who can switch everything, and we're just going to let the paint be what it is, and we're just going to shut everything else down on the perimeter. And Bielitsa's role is kind of like he's going to be the backup 5. Like that's looking like where it's going. So you come in there for a few minutes to spell Bam, give us some shooting, and we're not going to give a damn about the paint one way or the other.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I expect there to be some business. We will see what goes on. Let's come on to tonight's game against the Golden State Warriors. This should be it seems like a broken record. We seem to be saying this every time, but this should be a really good, really entertaining game. Obviously, we're on the second night of a back-to-back. They've had that extra day's rest. We'll just go through very quickly the stats. They are 23-24, which is obviously only a game worse off than us at 24-24, whereas we're 5th in the East. Their record sees them 10th in the West. So that shows you, how tight the East is. It's ridiculous. The Warriors are 9-15 away. The Heat are 0.500 at home, 0.500 in everything now. The Heat, both teams are currently 4-6 in their last 10. Miami are just favoured in the bookies' odds on a -3 spread. John, does Victor Oladipo, he's playing tonight, we know that. Does he go straight in? Is he starting?
I think so, yeah. Get Dragic more rest, and because of the matchup, you're not going to put Dragic on Curry or anything like that. So it will be a good game to see how he'll play, like versus a really good offensive guy. And because Kendrick's probably still out, so there's no other option. So yeah, I think he would start. Yeah,
Royal, do you agree with that? Do you think he's going to be starting tonight?
Oh, there's absolutely no way I'm trying Goran Dragic's ass out there with the first unit again, bro. Like that's over with. Once Vic gets here, like he has to start. So yeah, I think you put him in the starting lineup. You have to see what you have. He can't play back-to-backs. He's already sat out 2 games. He's had more than enough rest. I think they used some of that time to kind of get him acclimated to what they want to do with him. So yeah, bro, I think he comes out with the first 5.
Yeah, I agree. I think you do, even if it's just limited minutes. Do we think it'll be limited minutes overall tonight, Sam? I mean, he played, good solid minutes for Houston. He's only had this recent sort of head cold sort of problem recently, but it's not like he's been injured or he's been, on any sort of minutes restriction. He should be up to scratch pretty quick, shouldn't he, Sam?
Yeah, I think we should get to see a lot of him tonight. I mean, we saw a tweet from Mickey Harrison telling people to buy tickets to the game because Victor Oladipo is going to be playing. So, like, I'm expecting to see a good 15 to 20 minutes from him at least. So, yeah.
Yep, good stuff. Danny, Warriors' recent form, just like Miami's, really hadn't been great. We've won our last 2, whereas we was on a 6-game skid. Warriors similar. They had lost 4 in a row without Steph. Steph came back against Chicago and they won. So what do we think tonight? Is it literally keys to keep Steph under control?
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
if you can.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think I feel like I'm repeating myself because we had this conversation. We had a pre-game like not too long ago when I was like, you can't really do anything to shut Steph down. So, but yeah, piggybacking off what Royal said there, I guess you just let them feast in the paint and you just crowd their shooters, right? And now that you have Vic, it's time for him to prove himself. And we're all excited. I think he's excited. I think he's going to have a lot of energy tonight. So yeah, just see if he can put Steph on lock as much as he can, I guess.
Yeah, this is. Yeah,
I want to piggyback a little bit off of what Danny said, but you got to think about, like, what teams are we really worried about in the playoffs that have like imposing bigs? Like, I know that there's Joel Embiid over there with Philly, but he's literally the only one. Like, we were talking about Brooklyn.
What would you say then? So if we got because obviously remember last season, obviously we played Milwaukee, and that season was quite a lengthy, tough series. Our strategy and a lot of people's strategy is kind of like, build the wall, right? And that wall was, Bam and Jay, right? But now we don't have Jay. So who's the Jay replacement on the Giannis, on the Giannis switches and things like that, So I think that you need bodies, big bodies. And, obviously Trevor Ariza is kind of like the Jay replacement, but he's a lot skinnier and lankier than Jay is. So, I think that's going to be important if you get a Milwaukee series. How are you going to build the wall?
But I think it still will work though. You use the combination of Jimmy, Bam, Trevor Ariza with the length, and Andre Iguodala, and you can form some semblance of that wall.
Sure.
And I think that's what they're going to try and do. And against other teams like Brooklyn, we can switch everything with Vic, Jimmy, Bam, Trevor. Like, if they put out the lineup of Victor Oladipo, Jimmy, Bam, Trevor Ariza, and Andre Iguodala, good luck scoring goddamn points. Good luck scoring points. Like, yeah. And I think that's their game plan moving forward. If they don't pick up somebody who's comparable, who's competent as a big, then you're going to throw out the best 5 defenders that you got and force motherfuckers to try and score on you. And that's how we're going to win games for the rest of the season and throughout the playoffs. I'm sorry, guys. I talk a lot, so
no. This is why we wanted you in. Quick side note: Miami Heat beat were in the chat. You absolutely know it's Yanni in the chat because he started off with Royak, and then went to Royal. So yeah, hello Yanni.
That's my guy.
Thanks for coming in.
I love him, bro.
Yeah, he has takes. And yeah, Miami Heat beat, they come in swinging. They did. Just staying with you quickly, Royal. Should a team with Steph Curry, I know we've got Clay out and that's a big blow for them, but should a team that is line up with Steph Curry, Draymond, Oubre, Wiggins, Wiseman, should they be better than 10th in the East?
In the West?
In the West, sorry.
Theoretically, but you understand, like, Wiseman's still relatively young. He's a big part of what they're trying to do. They are still playing Andrew Wiggins, who is Andrew Wiggins. So yeah, like, they theoretically they could be a better team, but the West is really competitive. They have a lot of good teams out there, especially with a team like Phoenix, with the improvement that they go from being out of the playoffs to now being top 3 in the Western Conference. So that pushes everybody else down a peg. But yeah, I think they're going to end up making a push with Steph being healthy. I think they're going to make a push, and I think they could sneak in as a 7th, 8th seed or something like that. But yeah, I mean, that's a good team that we're playing, and I don't want their ranking as the 10th seed in the West to fool anyone to think that this should be an easy win. We're going to have to fight for this game. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, it seems like so long ago since obviously the Clay injury got announced. Is his season done? Is he not expected back at any point? I can't even remember now.
No, I don't think Clay's. I think Clay's was it an ACL?
Yeah, ACL.
So I don't think I don't think they should expect him to play, and I don't think they would want to play him.
Nah.
Considering what happened with KD in the finals, like they want to be as cautious as possible with Clay being around for the next few years.
Yeah, 100%. Thanks for your comments there, Davis 316. Very kind of you. John, just touching on Wiggins there. Despite their bad month in March, Golden State, the Wiggins was quite a good performer. 21.3 points per game, 50% shooting, and he scored a 23-point game against Miami in their win in February. So despite all the sort of negatives that come with him.
He's like an older RJ Barrett. Trash, bro.
Right. Well, we've got Royal's take on it. John, any difference to trash, or is this it?
I think I've been seeing a lot of people like watch more Warriors games that say he's been actually decent.
Yeah, I was gonna say
offensively and defensively,
quite decent numbers. But
Wiggins. I watched the Utah game and he was really good in that one. So I think, I don't think he that's just a name bias that he's been trash all the time, so he can't improve.
Okay, you might have got me there, John. Like
I mean, he's averaging like 18 points a game, right?
Yeah, but I think that's the thing with Wiggins. That's the thing with Wiggins. Like one game he'll come out and he looks like everything that everybody thought it would be, and then the next game he plays like absolute shit. And so like he's like I don't know. I think I judge him based off of where he was drafted and all the comparisons coming in, as opposed to just taking it for the player that he is. He's not a terrible player. Like he's a solid player, but trash.
I think his contract also says that as well.
Yeah, trash.
Oh, the contract,
massive contract.
Yeah, he's what up there with the worst in the league. Sam, any difference between John's sort of logical, name over thing and Royals just flat out trash? Anything more balanced?
Actually, yeah, I'm just right in the middle. I mean, at the start of the season, well, he put a bit of some good stats to start the season, and he's been integrated nicely into the Warriors. I mean, he's a good part of why they're above average defensive team. But you can't shake it. He is what he is. He's inconsistent, and she should be much better.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
He's almost shooting 40% on threes on 5 attempts.
Well,
John, don't come in here with your stats. I don't want to hear that.
He's going to blow up now against us. He's going to drop 40 on us because he's going to listen to the disrespect on game day from the UK. Right, okay. Let's brilliant. Let's wrap it up with the usual predictions. I'm going to leave Royal till last. John, I'm going to start with you. Heat or Warriors, and by how many?
I'll say confident win. Heat by 10.
Heat by 10. Actually, I think you called Heat by 6. Who called Heat by 10 last night? Was that you, Sam? Oh, it's Danny. Yeah. Okay, so it was close. What was it, by 5 last night in the end? So I think me and John was both pretty close there. Okay, Heat by 10. Like 6. It. Good start. Sam, what are you thinking?
Last time we played them, I had Heat in overtime. We ended up losing in overtime. But I'm going to go Heat by 3. Okay.
Danny, what are you saying?
I'll just go. Let's go Heat in OT for a dub.
Ooh, good stuff. Royal, over to you, man. Are you gonna do this a full house?
Oh man, listen, bro. If you watch these post game shows, you already know the boy feeling good. The boy feeling great after these 2 wins. We finna blow that shit out, Dan. Like we're gonna win this game by 15 points, and that's what I believe. Like that's. Oh yes, sir, Dr. Struce. The boy live in the UK. But we are definitely. I don't know if we're gonna win by 15, but I do see a double-digit win for Miami. Like I think that last game kind of like it's going to sit with the team the way that they lost it, how they had to lead in the fourth quarter. I think that sits with them. You want to put on a good performance with Vic's first game, so we come in, we play well, and I think we get a convincing win.
There you go. Love it. Absolutely love it. It's going to be a full house. Yeah, I'm on the same wave as you guys. I'm going to go Heat by 7. No, Oladipo's in. Energy's going to be fierce. We're on a 2-game win streak. All the woes are behind us. Full health almost. The Warriors won't know what's hit them tonight. We're going to come out fast. It's going to be good fun. Well, that was great. Really enjoyed that. Royal, thank you so much for joining us. Before you go, in case anybody doesn't know, and I can't imagine there's anybody that doesn't know, but please tell us where they can find you and obviously your great work and show on 5 Reasons.
Oh yeah, Dan, you got more followers than me. What you talking about, bro? This is a pleasure for me. I'm a big fan of the show, so thank you guys for having me. I really had a whole lot of fun. But if you don't know where to find me, you can find me at Royal A Shepherd. It's on the ticker below, on Twitter, on Instagram, and you can find my shows on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. I host the 5 Reasons Sports post game show, aka the Post Up. I also host the Clutch Corner. So yeah, you can catch me tonight as soon as the game is over. I'll be on there cutting up with my guys. I think we got Gad, Ariel, Jonathan Romlakan, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Michael's pulling up tonight too. So we're gonna have a pretty good crew tonight. So guys, make sure to check that out and keep watching this in the UK, because this is a different time frame. So you have time in the middle of the day. It's before any of the other pregame shows. It's a great watch as always, and these guys know what the fuck they're talking about. So I appreciate you guys for having me. Thank you.
Love that. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, we will try and get. Obviously, it's always difficult trying to catch the post game stuff because by the time the games end, it's 3 or 4 in the morning. But please catch up on the YouTube channel because it's always there. It's always great fun. So go and check that out. We will be on the usual live in-game comms tonight, 1 o'clock tip in the morning. Hoping to make it 3 wins on a trot. Please subscribe to Miami Heat UK TV if you're watching for the first time. I know Royal brings in a crowd, so there could be some newbies today. So subscribe to the channel while you're here. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll be back whenever the next game is. I never look further than the next game. I think it might be Sunday, but I could be wrong. But we will be back for Game Day in the UK then. Until then, enjoy the game. Let's go Heat.